Good evening and welcome in to the Bruning Law Firm postgame show after an 85-73 Missouri win over Mississippi State in the second round of the SEC tournament in a game that was way, way closer than that 12-point final margin would indicate. The 12-point lead was Missouri's biggest lead of the entire night. Shout out to the 213 people who are here live with us to start. It's going to grow throughout the night. Put your comments in the chat, questions. We've got almost 20 voicemails. Billy is going to be running the show, and he will get all that. Drew King may join us. I just knocked on wood and roused my dog. Sorry about that. Drew King may join us from Nashville. The Wi-Fi at Bridgestone Arena has been spotty at best all night long. If we can get Drew after postgame, we will. But he is focused on, number one, celebrating the improvement of the DKF. He saw a road win for the first time all year. And number two, the postgame press conference. We'll get to my thoughts in a minute. First of all, want to make sure you guys remember that our post-game shows all season long have been brought to you by the Bruning Law Firm. They will continue to be all throughout the postseason. And I think I can say this out loud. They've been so happy with how many of you guys have been here and how well the show has gone and how well Missouri has played that they're signed up for the 2025-26 season as well. So, look, you guys need to, again, we hope you're not in a situation of needing legal help. But if you are, if you've been injured, if you feel like you are in a position where you have been wronged, please reach out to the Bruning Law Firm for a free consultation at 573-400-2796. If you are in Missouri, Illinois, or Kansas, again, that is 573-400-2796. And they're going to give you a free consultation. They don't get paid till you get paid. They're going to do their absolute best for you. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on Power Mizzou. It helps us. They'll love it because they're big Mizzou fans, and they'll do their best work for you. They will do their best work for you no matter what, but tell them anyway. All right, let's get to it, guys. The way this is going to work, I'm going to give you just kind of my initial off-the-cuff thoughts. Then I'll answer some questions from the chat. We'll go to the voicemails, all that. If we get Drew on, we'll get him on. I don't think this was Missouri's best win of the year. I don't think this was Missouri's prettiest win of the year. I think this was 100% unquestionably Missouri's guttiest win of the year. They had no Mark Mitchell in the second half. Hopefully, Drew will find out what's going on with that. My guess is it's not super serious. He was on the bench without a wrap, without ice, anything like that. My guess is it's not super serious, but I can't say that for sure. We've got to hear what Dennis Gates says after the game. No Mark Mitchell in the second half. Caleb Grill, I think he had 5 points. 5 points on 2 of 11 shooting, 1 of 8 from 3. Ant Robinson, 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes. Josh Gray left the game with a calf injury for a little while. None of it mattered, guys. Tamar Bates, 25. So I want to take a minute here, not to gloat. I was going to say not to make some people feel bad, but I'm doing it to make some people feel bad. If you remember on this show last week, after the Kentucky game, we had a call saying Dan Dockich was right. Whole bunch of people saying, Tamar Bates, what's going on? Whole bunch of people on the message board. Tamar Bates just doesn't care anymore. 25 points, 8 of 12, took over in the second half. Took over. 12 points at halftime. Great first half. Second half was better. I don't think scored for about the first 10 minutes of the second half. Had 13 points in the last 10 minutes. Phenomenal effort. That kid, look, I still maintain he's not 100%. But obviously the 5 days off did him good. Tamar Bates, best game of the season. Outside of maybe scoring 29 against Kansas. But this, when his team had to have it, he absolutely showed up and gave it to him. Tony Perkins. Look, here's what I wrote in instant reaction. There is going to be a game in the postseason if Missouri makes a move because where Tony Perkins is the reason. And honestly, tonight was that game. Tony Perkins, fantastic effort on the night. Looking at the box score, 20 points. I'm almost positive that's the season high. 6 of 10 from the floor, 8 of 8 from the line, 7 rebounds, second most on the team, 4 assists, most on the team, 3 turnovers, not great. But hey, Ant in foul trouble. Grill not hitting shots. They needed somebody. Tony Perkins was somebody. The third guy that I think, well, there's two more guys that deserve individual recognition. Really three. Let's start with Aiden Shaw. No Mark Mitchell the entire second half. Aiden Shaw's barely played this year. 12 minutes, all in the second half. 3 points, 4 rebounds. Like, it's not going to jump out as like this unbelievable effort. Aiden Shaw has been buried on this team. He barely plays. And tonight, in the biggest game of the year, with your NCAA tournament seed on the line, Dennis Gates turned to him and says, I got to have it. And Aiden Shaw went out and he gave it to him. Enough. Again, not a star. 3 points, 4 rebounds. The effort on the offensive rebound with 1:20 to go that ended up leading to a basket that really kind of iced the game. Incredible effort by Aiden Shaw. I don't think he'll get enough credit for what he did tonight. Josh Gray, 12 rebounds in 21 minutes. Look, Josh Gray is not a good offensive player. We know this. Like, you cannot run the offense through him. They've got to stop throwing the ball to him in the low post. Good things don't necessarily happen. But 12 rebounds in 21 minutes. Josh Gray did what they asked him to do tonight. Great effort by him. Last guy that I think deserves some recognition here, Ant Robinson. All right, look, guys, the fouls are bad. The first one was a bad call. I'll give you that. The first one was a bad call. But once Ant gets one, he's getting two. And he got another one 50 seconds later, 24 seconds later, something like that. He was on the bench most of the first half. And then he came in and he had, for about a 3-minute stretch in the second half, he took that game over. 2 steals. He was hounding Josh Hubbard. He drew some fouls. Very impressive second half effort from Ant Robinson. Again, 6 points, only took 2 shots, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Like, he has had much better games, only played 14 minutes. Missouri can't win a lot of games with him playing 14 minutes. If that second half did not show you Ant Robinson's importance to this team, then you're simply never going to understand it. And in what I've been told is like the ultimate male insult, you don't know ball. So that's where we're at. Up over 400 people here in the stream. Appreciate it, guys. I want to make sure that you put your comments in the chat. Know we got some questions. Billy, let's go to a couple. If we've got any questions in the chat, let's address those for a minute. We'll get to the voicemail shortly. But I want to make sure we get to the people that were in the chat and have been hanging out here with us, waiting for us to start, because this was supposed to start an hour ago. Truman, the broadcaster, does anyone know if Mitchell's injury is serious? Not yet. Drew is doing postgame in Nashville. He is going to text me to let me know what Dennis Gates says about Mitchell. Again, he was on the bench. He didn't have anything on it that would indicate to me it's probably not incredibly serious, but I can't say that for sure. I will say this. I would not play Mark Mitchell tomorrow night against Florida. And here's why. I don't think that game matters. Like, I think tonight's game assured you of probably a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. I'm not sure you can get to a 5 just with tomorrow. I think you've got to beat Florida. It might do it, but you might have to beat Alabama too. Also, I don't think it really matters if you get to a 5. I can make an argument the 6 is better because you face a 3 seed in round 2 if you get to round 2. I would not play Mark tomorrow night. I would sit him. If you think he can play next week, I would sit him. Okay. Just got a text from Drew. Dennis Gates said there's no update, said he's not even sure what happened. He just said he had to go off what the trainers told him. I don't know what that is, guys. That's a Dennis Gates injury update. It's not an update. T-Rise, appreciate the super chat. I will let Drew know if he is able to get on here that you are contributing to the mini bar fund. Look, the hotel stays lasting another night. I don't think the Hampton Inn has a mini bar. Might have a regular bar. I don't know. Some of them do, but appreciate that, T-Rise. I know you're one of our very frequent viewers and commenters. So again, want to read the Mitchell update real quick. Gates said there is no update, said he's not even sure what happened. He just said he had to go off what the trainers told him. That's what we've got right now. I think you have to count on Mark not playing tomorrow. I think it's the smart move. We'll see where they get next week. There was just another question up there. I missed it because I was still talking. The hook and hold on Josh Hubbard. Let me say two things about Josh Hubbard. He's a hell of a basketball player, and he is the best actor in college basketball. He drew 3 fouls tonight that probably shouldn't have been called. But he is a hell of a player. I also want to say this about Missouri's defensive effort. 73 points for a team that scored 92 last night, for a team that averages 80 on the season. It was very obvious very early in that game. Mississippi State has one guy who can beat you. It's Josh Hubbard. Everybody else, whatever, let him shoot. Let Keyshawn Murphy shoot on every single possession if he wants to. Let RJ Melendez take every three-pointer he wants to. Let Riley Kugel take every three-pointer he wants to. Just don't let Josh Hubbard beat you. Josh Hubbard scored 24 points. It took 22 shots, 5 of them from the free throw line. He was 3 of 14 from 3. Look, you'll give him 24 points if it takes him 22 shots to get him. Tamar Bates took 12 shots and had 25. Tony Perkins took 10 shots and had 20. 22 points for 24 points on 22 shots is not a good night. It just isn't. Missouri did a good job on Hubbard and a great job on everybody else. Joshua Dace, appreciate the super chat, man. Again, we're never going to ask you guys for those, but we do appreciate them. Hey, this is kind of extra stuff that we're doing, and we love these post-game shows. They're a lot of fun, especially when we aren't at risk of catching on fire. We love all you guys being here, but do appreciate the extra tips if you guys want to give them. And Josh, thank you for that, man. So, all right, I think we got a couple more questions in the chat we can hit, and then we're going to get to the voicemail because, look, I just got to take a break from talking every now and then with I can't talk for an hour straight. All right, the TMA boys are back. I will stay fully clothed tomorrow night. I will say this. Shout out to Missouri basketball for once again occupying my wife's birthday, which is tomorrow. She's gotten very used to it. I told her Missouri was probably playing. We were going to have to do brunch on Saturday, couldn't do dinner on Friday. And she said, it's fine. You've been out of town on my birthday a lot of years. So it's good when I'm out of town on her birthday. That means Missouri is playing basketball. So, all right. Cobras is asking, I just see if we're going to have a Selection Sunday show. We absolutely are. So what we will do the rest of the week, we will have a post-game show tomorrow night. May even do a little something during the day tomorrow. Do a little preview show for you. May just be me. We'll see what Drew's doing. But we'll get you something during the day tomorrow. We'll do a post-game show tomorrow night. If Missouri advances to Saturday, we'll do a post-game show then. If Missouri advances to Sunday, we'll do a post-game show then. And we will do a Selection Sunday show after the announcement and after we talk to Missouri. So the show's at 5. I'm going to guess we'd get to talk to Missouri around 6:15. Probably going to be like 7 o'clock, but we will do a Sunday night show for sure. And we'll do a post-game show every night Missouri plays. Tyler, does this bump us to a 6? They may have been a 6 anyway. I think this assures a 6. Some people had them as a 7. I think the resume said 6, but a loss tonight might have hurt that. I think they're solidly a 6 now. And I don't think that changes tomorrow. I don't think losing to Florida hurts you. So, I think Missouri will be a 6. What did you think of the defense? Much better. Not perfect, but also very limited. I don't even blame them for getting out rebounded for a while in the second half. They were playing with like a tiny lineup out there. Defense was much better, no question. Saw something. I'm going to throw this one up real quick. Scott Fitz, appreciate the Drew King mini bar fund, and refs reviewed the hook and hold and still missed it twice. That's my problem with the review, guys. They still don't get it right. What are we doing? I don't care if you miss a call, just miss it. But if you're going to have review, don't miss it again. And my biggest problem, honestly, right now is this. We have to call it a goaltend because then we can go back and review it. And if we don't call it a goaltend, just call the damn play. Change that rule. That's stupid. That in football, review has become, if the ball's on the ground, we're going to call it a fumble. and then we can always go back and fix it later. Like, call the game. Don't rely on either go to robots or call the game as you see it. Like Missouri, double overtime was part of it, but even if Texas A&M had ended in regulation, Missouri wasn't starting on time. These games take way too long. Kentucky, Oklahoma probably is just starting. It is 10:47 Eastern time. They're going to get done at 1 a.m. or it'll be midnight in Nashville and have to come back and play tomorrow night. Like, this is crazy what we're doing. Sam, appreciate you, man, for the super chat. And also, I know you are one of the guys that is always here with us. I think at some point this year, you told us maybe you were watching from Cambodia in football season. I don't know if that was true or not, but appreciate your dedication. Appreciate you always being a part of these shows. All right, Billy, I've talked for 18 straight minutes. Let's jump to the first voicemail real quick.
Winning this game without Mark Mitchell is huge. I still don't know what Gates is doing half the time with lineups, though. Winning this game without Mark Mitchell.
All right. First point, completely agree. Winning without Mark Mitchell, huge. Second point, like, I don't know what you want him to do tonight, guys. SC Bryant, appreciate the super chat, man. Again, if you guys give us a super chat, always going to recognize you and shout you out. Or 5C Bryant, I'm sorry. Appreciate that. And I know Drew's going to eat and drink well whenever he gets back to the hotel at 2 a.m. But like, what is Gates supposed to do tonight? Mark Mitchell can't play. Ant's in foul trouble. Josh Gray's in the locker room. Yes, there were points I was going, please get Marquez Warwick off the floor. Please get Jacob Cruz off the floor. But, like, you have to play 5 guys. Dennis Gates just got 12 second-half minutes out of Aiden Shaw in an SEC tournament game and won. Like, I don't know who he was supposed to put on the floor. You have to have 5 guys unless you go Gene Hackman and Hoosiers. So I don't know who you're wanting to be out there tonight that wasn't out there. I thought, I have been super hard on Trent Pierce for the last 3 weeks. Trent Pierce gave him 19 solid minutes tonight. 7 points, 2 of 3 from the field, made a free throw, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. I'll take that out of Trent Pierce every night going forward and take my chances. Like, do you want Ant to foul out at halftime? Tamar Bates played 33 minutes. Tony Perkins played 31. Caleb Grill played 29. I mean, I don't know. Are you saying pull him? Like, you've got to have him on the floor. I have no issue with the lineups or the rotations tonight. Winning this game as shorthanded as they were, incredibly impressive from Dennis Gates. Hell of an effort tonight. Let's go to another voicemail and recognize, hey, we're up over 500 here tonight. So appreciate all you guys hanging out.
Give me this Tony Perkins in the tournament, and I feel good about Mizzou's chances.
Give me Tony Perkins and an Ant Robinson that stays on the floor, and I will put Missouri's backcourt up against almost anybody because you get Tamar Bates. You get that Perkins, and I don't even think you need that Perkins regularly because I think you get more out of Ant most nights than you got tonight. Give me that Tamar Bates. I will take my chances next week. No question. All right, let's go to the next one.
Gabe, Coach Matt here. I'm a Hall of Famer, getting ready to watch these boys close out the game. Pretty good night for Gates, making this work with Mitchell out and some other BS going on. Ant took over for a few minutes after getting back. I think that was kind of a big turning point for us. Take any win right now, MIZ.
Agree with all of it. Look, guys, here's been my big problem. And it's not just this year, but it's been really bad this year. Every time there's a win, we praise the players. And every time there's a loss, we just crap all over Dennis Gates. Well, let's recognize what he did tonight. He won an SEC tournament game against an NCAA tournament team on a night where, like, he was so extremely limited. And he has to get some credit for that. If you're going to drill him when they lose, you have to give him credit. when they do well. Got a couple more super chats I want to throw up real quick. MIZ appreciate you, man. The Drew King Fund. And how about Kurt recognizing the wife, man? The super chat for the wife's birthday. Appreciate that, honestly. I think her present is that I'm busy on her birthday, so she doesn't have to deal with me too much. But appreciate you guys. Let's go jump back to the voicemail line.
Hey, Gabe. 31 seconds left. I don't know how we're winning this, but we're going to. Tamar Bates played out of his mind, so Tony Perkins really stepped up tonight. Like that from him. Aiden Shaw, really good minutes. It's really weird what I'm witnessing right now. I don't know what to think of this. I guess we take the 6th seed and hope Mitchell's okay and sit him tomorrow and probably lose that game going to next week. Maybe he's all right. Maybe he can play. That's my take on it. Well, I have no idea the extent of this injury yet, but I guess we'll find out later on. But anyway, really, really good win. Lots of guts from the team tonight. Really good to see.
Here's the bad part about wins, guys. Like, I usually agree with you. And losses, like, people are jumping off cliffs and all that. And, we've got some things to fight about. Last week on the show, I called one guy an idiot and another guy a dick. Tonight, we're all getting along. So all good. Ron Davis, appreciate the super chat, man. Shout out to Drew. Yeah, Drew's going to do great work down there. He battled the Wi-Fi all night. Like, at one point, he was reduced to his phone. I don't know if he's going to be able to join us. Hope he can, but we'll let you know. My dog is freaking out downstairs. I hope nobody's trying to break into my house. I honestly have no idea. Matty Mock with the super chat. Appreciate you, man. I hope you guys can hear that in the background. This is what we're dealing with. This is professional broadcasting at its best. I've now got both dogs going nuts. So let's go to another voicemail so I can at least mute my mic.
Get Jacob Cruz off the fucking floor. This guy doesn't know how to play basketball. We should have left his ass in Como.
Yeah, that seemed harsh. I do understand it. I understand the frustration. Somebody's got to tell Jacob Cruz he's not Steph Curry. Somebody's got to also tell him to grab a rebound. Like, just grab the ball. He did come up he made a couple big shots. He made a couple plays. And again, everybody on that was a team win. He played 22 minutes. And so give him some credit. He did not have a turnover. Him and Ant Robinson were the only guys that played that did not have a turnover. So give him some credit for that. But I do understand the frustration tonight. I shared it with you at times. There were many times in that game I gave up on players, and I did not think Missouri was going to win that game until we got under the 2-minute mark with the 6-point lead. I started to think maybe, but I still wasn't sure. I wrote in the instant reaction, it reminded me of Arkansas, where the first half, like, Missouri should have been up 15 in the first half, and they weren't. And then they just let Mississippi State right back in. It's a back and forth game. And halftime, a friend texted me and said, Missouri's going to win. I said, first 4 minutes will tell me the story. Because if they don't fix these turnover problems, they're not going to win. And then they came out and had 2 or 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the second half. And I thought, this is curtains. Well, they only ended up with 5 for the entire second half. So that tells me there were no more than about 3 turnovers in the last 17 minutes. I mean, that was the whole thing, guys. They started hanging on to the ball. Won the game. All right, let's go next call.
Is Mitchell hurt, in trouble, or why are we keeping him off the court? I don't understand this. Where's Mitchell?
Yes, he was hurt. I believe we have covered that. All right, let's keep going.
They are playing pretty sloppy. I mean, but right now it's 62-62. I think they still can pull this out, tighten it up against Florida next game. So, yeah, they just all over the place. But they have them good flashes of good plays, which is kind of crazy. But I gotta ask a question: what is this kind of offense that they run? Like, what would you describe this offense as? Like, when they had the Mike Anderson era, it was the 40 minutes of hell. But what is this kind of offense they run? Like, what is Dennis Gates' like offensive style? I'm be confused about that sometimes. MIZ.
It's a good question. I don't know like what he calls it. I mean, he has said he wants to lead the country in 3-point attempts. It is an offense that is very much based on getting steals and getting out and running, not dissimilar to Mike Anderson, maybe not to the same extent, but not dissimilar in style. And Woods, Water, and Mizzou, hey, appreciate the super chat there. And guys, I want to encourage you as well to go listen to their podcast. I was on with those guys a few weeks ago, and big Mizzou fans do a good job. Nick, appreciate the Royals hat shout out. That was my birthday present from my son last year. So thank you. I do see T-Rise also gave us a super chat to get Drew a massage. We're getting a little out of hands, guys. I'll pay for the mini bar and the nachos. Massage can't be taken off on taxes. But like, I don't, that would be a good question to ask Dennis. Like, how do you describe your offense, right? Because I think that's a question that he has to answer, because I don't think I know enough sitting here watching to tell you exactly what it, like, it's not a Princeton offense. You know, I did see an interview with him where he talked about Pete Carrill's influence, and there is some of that in what he does. But I think it's a good question. Devontae says it's called shooting threes is fun. Look, it is fun. Like, I do like watching them play. Even when they don't play well, even when they don't win, I think they're an entertaining team to watch, you know? So let's just go with Devontae's answer for now. Shooting threes is fun. That's the offense. All right, let's go another call.
Hello, this is Yessia Puig, Mizzou. Tony Perkins is a statement. I think we should retire his number at this point. Just an absolute stud of a human. Would never do any bad things to anyone, regardless of race, gender, or religion. But we love Tony Perkins. Retire the jersey, hang it up. Tony Perk 30.
All right, we're hanging Tony Perkins' jersey in the rafters. Drew, did you hear that?
I did not.
Okay, the last caller wants to retire Tony Perkins' number after tonight.
I mean, honestly, I can't argue with them. It's a good point, good idea.
It's pretty good. Drew is topical with the basketball tie tonight. I want to let you know we have gotten a number of super chats tonight asking you to abuse the mini bar and get some nachos. One guy said you can go get a massage. So, like, people are funding your entertainment in Nashville for another night.
I do have a list of things that I'm trying to get done after the season's over, and a massage is at the top of the list. So if you want to keep the super chats coming in, that would be helpful.
The super chat was for a different type of massage. He didn't mention happy ending, but I think that's where he was going.
Well, I mean,
all right, let's start you with another super.
Okay.
Let's start you with another super chat. Brian wants to know, who would you rather have a basket of French fries with, Todd Golden or Chris Jans?
For me, Chris Jans. I think that I've heard good things about Chris, actually. I have a friend who used to cover New Mexico State, said he was a great guy. So, and Todd Golden, I don't want to say anything negative about him.
Yeah, we don't want to just besmirch Todd Golden's good name on this show. Yeah. But yeah, let's go Chris Jans with that. All right. So look, just before I negatively influence you with my thoughts, your kind of immediate thoughts on this one.
For one, it was like a much needed win. Like, it was a must-have game for them, and they got it done. And the team has talked all season long, and this is kind of what all of the interviews were about like, we're 18 strong. Our depth is our biggest strength. And tonight it really came through for them when they needed it the most. And then, kind of like we've already talked about, like, this is a Tony Perkins and Tamar Bates legacy game. Those two tonight, I thought, were easily the best players on the floor. So I think that it all just came together for Mizzou.
Billy, if we can put that last super chat up, I want Drew to know that a viewer wants him to get he's super chatting for a new tie and a drink. I don't know if you get both those things for $9.99, but you know,
what's wrong with the tie?
I like the tie. I think it's good. So you mentioned Tony and Tamar, and obviously those are the standouts. The other three players I kind of individually said, tell me which of these three you would put at the top of the list. Ant Robinson, Josh Gray, Aiden Shaw.
Number one is Aiden Shaw. Just has not played very much all season long, and he was ready tonight. And I think, like I asked Tamar Bates and Tony Perkins when they were on the podium, like, hey, what does it say about the depth of the team? And it technically wasn't a question for Gates, right? It was supposed to be a player-only question, but Gates cut in. He's like, I thought Aiden Shaw was fantastic tonight. So to me, I think that having him be able to come in and be a positive impact when Mitchell went down, I don't know that Mizzou wins this game without him.
Play of the game, the Aiden Shaw effort on the offensive rebound that basically led to an out of bounds off Mississippi State with 1:25 left, and then Missouri scores on the ensuing possession.
Yeah. Well, that one, and then like also the one where Ant Robinson got the steal, played bumper cars with Keyshawn Murphy, and then like just dumped it off behind him to Shaw for the dunk. Like maybe not like the most influential play of the game, but that was the coolest one for me.
Ant Robinson had maybe his most impactful half of the season. And Drew, I'm going to lose my mind when Missouri's out of the tournament because Ant Robinson plays 14 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Evan on our show, Evan Miyakawa, a couple weeks ago, and he illustrated all the reasons why Ant is the most important player on this team. Like, he changes this team. He had a 3-minute stretch in the second half where he turned the game. Missouri was down like 4, and then Ant just went nuts, and they were up 5, and they kind of were in control most of the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seth Davis came out with a column today putting Ant on his all glue guy team. And like, he's obviously an all SEC defender. So like, there's just so many things that he brings to the table, and he can make those really timely plays that change the outcome of a game. But he can't do that when he's on the bench. And I think that was a pretty frustrating moment for both him and Coach Gates, because like the first one, you could argue the call should have been on Josh Hubbard for holding his wrist or whatever, right? But the second one, when you're going up against RJ Melendez, and it's immediately after, that was the one that makes you want to rip your hair out if you have any. Sorry, Gabe. But
I knew that was a shot at me.
No, but yeah, so I thought that Ant did a really good job coming back into the game, keeping himself under control, and obviously like put them over the top for the win. Yeah. All right,
Billy, if you can kind of throw up these super chats we've gotten lately, I do want to shout out everybody. Maddie Mock, MIZ SEC wants to make sure that Drew actually receives the money. Drew, can you confirm I actually pay you every month?
Yes, I can. I can confirm. Okay. I do get money that Gabe sends me every month.
Drew is not doing this for the love of the game.
Maddie Mock.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Okay, Ted Choma's asking, what 3 guys have to play well for Missouri to make a run?
Well, I said on Monday. I said
Caleb Grill and Mark Mitchell before tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So here's kind of my spin on it, right? It doesn't have to be specific guys, but it does have to be a certain number of them, right? Mm-hmm. So like, we came in saying Mark Mitchell and Caleb Grill because coming in, those were the only 2 guys who were really playing well. But obviously tonight, Tamar Bates steps up, Tony Perkins steps up, Ant Robinson steps up, and they kind of get things done offensively with those 3. So as long as they can find, a variety of scorers, I think they'll be okay most nights offensively. It doesn't have to be anyone in particular.
That is fair. One of my concerns coming down the stretch in this game was Mississippi State knows who its guy is that can go win this game, right? It's Josh Hubbard.
Yes.
Josh Hubbard is capable of taking over a game. Missouri's guy who is capable of that wasn't doing it tonight. Now, there were other guys that stepped up, no question. But I just kind of 2 years ago, Missouri went into the NCAA tournament, and they're down a couple points to Utah State in the second half, and Kobe Brown just says, not tonight. I'm taking over. I'm winning this game. He did. Then the second round, him and Demoy Hodge didn't have it, and they went home because of it. And I understand the depth being a fact, but I think Dennis Gates has to have 1 or 2 guys that he can count on. And I think it's Mark Mitchell tonight was no fault of, he didn't play badly. He was fine. Right. So I think Mark Mitchell is that guy. And then I think the second one has to be Grill or Bates. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it matters which one, but one of them has to do it. And then you need the third guy, and the third guy can be anybody. Third guy can be rotating.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? Because even looking ahead to next year, Gabe, like Mark Mitchell is your tent pole guy. Like everything is going to be built around him. And the way they have been playing this whole second half of SEC play, Mark Mitchell has been the tent pole guy. So, yes, you do still need probably a Caleb Grill or Tamar Bates to be that secondary scorer, because most nights you're not going to get good games from or big games from both Tony Perkins and Ant Robinson or Marquez Warwick or Jacob Cruz, whoever it is. So more than likely it's going to be Mitchell, Bates, or Grill, and then whoever wants to be the third guy on a given.
All right, so one more, like, I read your text about Mark Mitchell, about what Dennis Gates said about Mark Mitchell on the air. And I'll be honest, I think I understand less about his injury than I did before. Do we have any idea what's going on with Mark?
So I asked Mark because I didn't even see the play where it happened.
And I don't think anybody did. I mean, I spent the first 5 minutes of the second half going, where the hell is he?
Right. So he said he jumped up. Actually, let me pull up the Otter transcript because I don't want to misquote him here. But it basically said he felt something hurt in his knee. He was able to still run down to the other end of the court. So I don't think it's anything horrible or structurally wrong. But obviously, they pulled him out the game. I saw him on the stationary bike behind the bench for the end of the first half. And then I see him trying to jog in the tunnel during the second half. And I just don't think he was there mentally to get back into it. Or maybe the trainers said, we probably want to hold him off. But I'm sorry, I don't have any of my interviews labeled.
I mean, no, that explains a lot. I mean, it's got to be a good sign that he was on the bench without ice, without a brace. I mean, if it's serious, he's not sitting there in the second half, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so he says, I jumped and I just kind of stopped real fast, kind of hard. I still ran down after. So, I mean, it wasn't, I don't think anything too serious. It's just a little sore. So
I said before you got on, I said, okay, there was talk of him returning to the game. He didn't want to put our team at a disadvantage if he wasn't 100%. So I said before you got on, Drew, I would not play him tomorrow. Do you agree with that?
100%. Because the whole point of the tournament for Mizzou going in, I think, was just to move up to that 6th seed line. And I think this game is going to do that for them. I don't know that they can do anything else in this tournament that's going to help their seeding for the NCAAs.
They would have to win 2, I think. I don't think beating Florida alone changes what you are from where it is tonight. If super chat from 5C Bryant, Drew, this was right before you got on. The voicemail was asking how to describe Dennis Gates' defense, and somebody described it as it should be called shooting threes is fun. I support that.
Yeah.
Is that a good name for what they do?
That's valid. Yeah, sure.
All right. So look, Drew's got a million things to do. So let's have you hang around for 1 or 2 voicemails, and then I'm going to let you go do your business.
Awesome.
Shout out to the people on the Power Mizzou board who were questioning Tamar Bates' commitment and effort, saying he doesn't care, gives up, etc. That never made any sense. Doesn't make sense now. And also shout out to Aiden Shaw. Really good minutes with Mitchell out. Obviously didn't fill up the box score, but brought the energy, played good defense. Great win.
Yeah, so Drew, I've never felt so justified calling somebody a dick as I do for calling the guy a dick on the show last week who questioned Tamar, and the people on the board who said he doesn't care. Look, there may be a million reasons he didn't play well the last 4 games, but he doesn't care isn't allowed to be on the list.
1,000%. And we knew, I think most people at least knew, Tamar obviously wasn't playing well, but it wasn't an effort issue for him. I think it was just he was in a rut. And so I thought, absolutely, tonight, like I said, was a legacy game for him. There's no question how much he cares about the team and how they perform after a game like tonight.
Right. I think this puts to bed you can't win with Tamar Bates on your team. I think we're good on that. All right. Yeah. Let's do one more voicemail, and then we'll get Drew's closing thoughts and let him go do some work as he sits at Hattie B's for the second night in a row.
Great win for the Tigers. Gabe, what's your read on Mark Mitchell being out? Do we think he's going to play in the tournament? I think he's got to be out the rest of the weekend, but really it's all about the tournament now. Without Mark Mitchell, this team isn't going anywhere. Thanks. Jackson McNeil, Chesterfield, MIZ.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered all the Mitchell stuff, but yeah, Drew, like you said this, and I agree. This tournament for Missouri was about tonight. They've achieved what they, now that doesn't mean you don't go try to win tomorrow night. Hey, go beat Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, or whatever. That'd be awesome. That'd be a hell of a run. Raise a trophy. Cool. I've changed my mind on the don't try to win. Go try to win the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. But you've achieved what you went to Nashville to achieve.
Yeah, you can go try to win, but not at the cost of Mitchell's availability for the NCAA tournament. So,
100%.
Yeah, that's my point.
All right. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say on the way out the door?
Yeah, I do actually. Shouts to the SEC tournament for not giving me an assigned seat on the floor and also having the worst Wi-Fi imaginable during the game. Really appreciate that from them.
Awesome. Again, that's as mean as Drew's ever going to be. So, all right, man. Appreciate it. Everybody be reading your stuff, and I don't know. I'll be in touch. I talked about maybe doing a quick preview show during the day tomorrow, so we'll be in touch about your schedule.
Absolutely. Awesome.
All right, man. Have a good one. That is Drew King live from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. He will have complete post-game coverage, story tonight, story in the morning. Connor McClain was down there, shot locker room video for us. He is also actually shooting the Kentucky game right now for the SEC. But when that game is over, he's going to send me some locker room videos, some interviews. We'll get those posted for you guys. Don't know if you'll still be awake, but he'll get those posted. And or I'll get those posted after he sends them to me. So we'll go ahead and finish up with you guys. Okay. All right. I got to address this. I'm just put this on the screen myself. I stand by my comment. Dan Dockich was right. Nicole, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. Like, this is silly. I mean, there you go. Sam's got the answer. Cole's an Indiana insider. Like, Cole, Indiana probably lost their spot in the tournament today. I apologize. That sucks. This is dumb. Tamar Bates tonight, like that's one of the games you're going to remember about. And if you don't look back in whether it's 3 weeks, 3 months, a year and a half, whatever, if you don't look back fondly on Tamar Bates's career at Missouri, why are you a fan? What are you doing? That's stupid. So yeah, I'm glad we got to at least get me insulting some viewers again tonight. What's a post-game show if I'm not insulting the people that are making this all possible, right? And do appreciate we've had more than 500 people on here all night. I know it's 10:15 on a Thursday. You guys might have a real job that you have to get up and go to tomorrow. But certainly appreciate you spending some of the time with us, and we'll kind of try to put a bow on this thing. Again, Missouri, Florida tomorrow night at 6. I think there's a revenge factor, and let's go ahead and since Billy's got the graphic up here, if somebody can let me know in the chat, or Billy, if you can message me. I don't know what the Kentucky OU score is right now. I'm going to assume Kentucky's going to win that game, but Ole Miss Auburn in the opener. Look, I think we'd all expect Auburn probably to win that, right? Texas, Tennessee, boy. I mean, Texas okay, Kentucky's up 3 early. Texas went through an absolute war today. I mean, double overtime. After playing on Wednesday, I cannot imagine that Texas has the legs to play with Tennessee tomorrow. Missouri, Florida, again, just go take your shot. I think revenge matters here. Missouri's the only team that won at Florida. I'm sure Florida doesn't think it played well in that game. They probably have a little something in for Missouri. I, again, would expect that we don't see Mark Mitchell tomorrow because I don't think there's really a reason to see him. If Missouri wins that one, hey, well done, guys. It'd be the first time I believe Missouri's ever won 2 games in the SEC tournament. And that'd be a goal. And like, hey, you go take your shot. But I feel like tomorrow's a little bit of a house money game. I think Florida's playing for a 1 seed this week, playing for revenge. Tomorrow's tough. And then Alabama gets the Oklahoma-Kentucky winner. I'd be surprised if we don't see the top 4 seeds playing on Saturday. Hey, there's a reason that those double buys matter. But it'll be go take your shot. Missouri's playing on Friday. At worst, we get 1 off day between the last conference tournament game and Selection Sunday. So all good. Hell of a win tonight. Again, not their most impressive win, not their prettiest win, but probably their gutsiest win. A win that, and man, they needed this, but more than that, you guys needed this. I mean, the last 3 weeks, I have not seen the fan base turn quite like it has in the last 3 weeks. And I understand part of it, right? I understand part of it. Like, yeah, they lost 4 out of 5, and they lost 3 to teams that, frankly, they probably shouldn't lose to. At least 2. Arkansas, maybe. But, like, they should beat Oklahoma and Vandy. They're better teams than Oklahoma and Vandy. So I get it. As we said after the Kentucky game, Missouri had the misfortune to go through their worst stretch of the year at the worst time of the year. So tonight showed you that they're still capable of winning the type of games they're going to play starting next week. No guarantee, obviously. Hey, you go out and lose to, I don't know, Xavier or whoever you're going to play in the first round. Anything's possible. But had you lost tonight, you're going in on 5 out of 6, and it would have been a miserable week of season's over, season wasn't even that good, all that. I think this changes that narrative to some degree, right? You're clearly in the top half of the best league in college basketball. You swept Mississippi State, a tournament team. You got, I think, your 10th win over a team that's going to be in the field. So you go take your shot next week. And hey, I've got Drew King back. Is there a reason we have Drew King back on the show?
Oh,
what's up, Drew?
You know what I just remembered, Gabe? Where
No.
are all the people in the comments who thought that I was the reason Mizzou was losing on the road? Just raise your hand for me. No, I want to see something.
We did. Hey, I did publicly recognize that the Drew King factor, like, it improved tonight. It's still negative for the season, but clearly this explains that it was not your fault that they played like crap at Oklahoma, melted down against Vanderbilt, all that.
Yeah, not me. It was not
all right,
me.
we've got
Thank
a bunch
you,
of
Logan.
hand raises.
Thank you for being
everybody's showing
honest.
up. Shane says he was starting to believe it. But look, the Drew King factor was simply not in Mizzou Arena. Neutral site road game doesn't matter. It was just not in Mizzou Arena.
Yeah. And it was bad. I'll admit, right? 7 in a row with me in the building on the road. Like, I get it. But just goes to show it's not me.
I will say if Mizzou wins tomorrow and then wins the national title, you will end up 500 for the season.
So that's all I wanted to come on and say. So thank you for
totally
having me.
Worth it. Appreciate the pop in. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's it, man. I don't know how to end it better than that, right? Drew King coming on here to talk shit. Way to go. Missouri, Florida, 6:00 tomorrow night. Look, we didn't get to all the voicemails. We had a ton of them. We had 500 of you guys on here all night long. Awesome. Really appreciate it. We'll do it again tomorrow night. Hopefully we will do it before 9:30 because the game might actually start somewhat close to on time. We'll do it all day tomorrow. Drew coverage from Nashville coming. Connor McClain has video. Going to cover this thing as long as it goes. One more shout out to our friends at the Bruning Law Firm. Look, guys, they are going to, if you are in a situation, if you've been injured, if you've been wrong, they're going to get you back to your life as fast as they possibly can. They use data. They use an experienced team of lawyers. They are going to take care of you. Call them 573-400-2796 for a free consultation. Tell them Power Mizzou sent you. Appreciate Billy for running the show. Appreciate the Bruning Law Firm for sponsoring this show. All you guys who were on it. And obviously Drew King for putting in a heroic effort tonight and at least through tomorrow in Nashville. So talk to you all tomorrow sometime. Have a good one.